Went out for a walk this weekend, nice long walk, 5 miler, and wore my Oxblood Red Wing 213s, and they got a bit dirty. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to bring them back to looking more like that. Now, I did that over on my TikTok and Instagram channels. If you want to go and check those out, you're more than welcome. But this one is just for you. So we're going to start with some saddle soap and give it a clean. We're then going to condition it with some mink oil, maybe a little bit of Saphir Renovateur, you never know. Then some Saphir Medaille d'Or 1925. 1925, as we say, and then some wax polish to finish to give it that final luster. So let's get started. We're going to start off by popping in a shoe tree, as ever. Gives us a nice flat surface to work with. Then, quite simply, the applicator brush for the saddle soap. Let's just get straight into it. Actually, we're going to brush off the loose dirt to begin with. This is an important step because it means that we're not going to be brushing any loose debris and grit into the wax and into the leather. So it's quite an important part of the process. Only takes a minute or two, but just gets rid of any surface dirt before we start. There we go. And quite simply, open up the saddle soap. Wet the applicator brush around the saddle soap. Nice lather. Start at the toe cap, work your way into the welt. This is going to clean and condition the leather, and it's just a great way to start. These boots are Red Wing 213s with a Moc-toe, moccasin toe, and they were designed in about 1959, and it's quite a timeless design of boot. They are very expensive, but they will literally last you a lifetime. They're full grain leather and, oops, wrong cloth. They're full grain leather, and it's incredibly high quality, tough wearing, and as long as you look after the leather, as I say, you literally get a lifetime's worth of faithful service out of them. So they might cost you £300, $300, but it's a very good investment. I got these on eBay. They were a lot cheaper than that. They were under 100, and I had to spend quite a bit of time doing a restoration on them, and it's brought them up to a really nice condition, and I'm hopefully going to get the rest of my lifetime out of them. Clean around the welts, just get the rest of the suds out of the welt, and that's phase one of the clean. It's shinier than it would normally look because obviously that's it's still a little bit wet. So we need to leave that maybe an hour or so to dry properly, and then we can come back and do the mink oil and the Renovateur, or rather the Renovateur and then the mink oil. Join me in a few minutes. That's had about 40 minutes to dry. Next step in the process is a bit of Renovateur. This is another Saphir product, It does contain mink oil, so there's a little bit of duplication with this in the next step, but this is a really nice product. It's got some great, it's got an amazing smell, and it really does nourish the leather. So we don't use very much of this at all, just a few small dabs. And really is a case of a little goes a long way with this, especially since we're adding mink oil as a next step as well. Just a great bit of luxury for your leather, for your footwear. It's I mean, I bought this jar of Renovateur 3 years ago. As you can see, it's well used, still a little bit of life left in it, but it really does last a long time, so don't worry about that. It's quite expensive, but well worth it. Your leather goods will thank you for it. So what we can do with that is, again, just give us another little light brush, evenly distribute the product across the surface of the leather. Because we've not used very much, it doesn't need quite as long to for it to soak in. And I'm actually just going to go straight in with the mink oil, but that's what it looks like with the Renovateur. It's already, you can tell it's had a really nice effect on the leather. So mink oil, again, I'm just going to use my fingers rather than any sort of cloth or applicator. Get just a tiny amount, really. Now this does look very shiny. You would think that this is a place where you could leave the process, because look, they're all lovely and shiny, and that's great, but they don't finish up like that. Once the oil has had a chance to soak in, it does dull down quite a lot. But again, I'm just going to cover it and then leave it to do its thing. Put the lid back on that. Again, you don't use very much of that, and it's not a very expensive product, but it's great for the long-term conditioning of your boots. Right, so the mink oil has been allowed to absorb, and there we are. We're just going to give it one quick buff to redistribute the oil across the leather, and then we'll be good to go. There we are. The next step is the Saphir Medaille door, which again is, as I've said before, is a pigmented shoe cream, which also has conditioners in it. This particular one is the mahogany rather than the oxblood, but because it's not the final coat, it's going to be okay. It's the reddest brown that I've got, so I'm just going to do a light coat of that. Again, we don't need to do all these processes every single time. I think if it was just on a maintenance clean, I would just give them a quick brush and the wax, the final wax polish. It depends how dry they've got in the interim and how much care they need, but you know, there is actually something very satisfying about doing shoe care and leather care. Once you get into it, and And once you start filling the products with your fingers and getting that connection to the leather, it's a really satisfying process. I do it fairly quick for the sake of the video, but when I'm doing it, you know, taking my time, doing it at normal speed, it's a much more engaging and involved process. So there we are, layer of the shoe cream. I'm going to give that a quick brush. Again, same as before, redistributing it across the surface of the leather. That's not really the buffing, the shining part of the process. That's just to make sure that the cream that we've applied is going to be evenly spread. When the cream's had a chance to absorb into the leather, that's when we'll give it a buff and then apply the wax polish on top of that. But as you can see, it's already looking great. Let's give that about 20 minutes and we'll come back for the wax polish. So the Saphir Medaille door has had a chance to absorb in, and we're just going to give it a quick buff and then do the wax polish to finish off. Right, now that is the oxblood wax polish I'm going to use. Again, just going to use my fingers to apply it. And the secret to applying wax polish is little and often, is basically layering it up in tiny thin micro layers, because if you layer it on really thickly, you're going to end up with a cracked polish. And again, thin layers allow you to control the wax a lot better. It melts easier, it applies to the leather a lot easier, and it builds up into a lovely shine. So you can build the shine, build the layers step by step. Again, it's not a quick process. You can do it as a quick process, but it's much nicer to give it a bit of time and patience and just build it up. And as I've said before, these particular boots, being a full grain leather, they're designed to last a lifetime. So giving them that, giving them treatment as though you want them to last a lifetime is a great tip. If you're thinking as you're wearing them and looking after them and storing them and so on, what can I do to extend the life of these boots? Because if I do, they're going to last me, and I can literally leave them to my children because they are designed to last and last. What can I do to keep them at their best? And this is it, just lots of gentle treatment and show them that you love them, basically, because they will reward you tenfold over time. Right, so I'm going to switch to this one. This is the large horsehair brush. It's a much finer, softer brush for buffing. And again, brings them up to a nice shine. So that is the almost finished boot. All that remains now is to give it a quick polish. I'm going to do that with a microfiber cloth, and it's quite awkward to do because I don't have a way of clamping the boot in place. So what I have to do at this stage is try to wedge it betwixt my thighs and polish it this way. So hopefully you can still see the technique, but basically I'm getting the microfiber cloth corner to corner and just not really applying a lot of pressure, but it's more the friction that's making the toe shine. This is what's giving the toe cap its shine. So it's not pressure, it's more the friction. And there we have it. Lovely, absolutely spot on. Almost makes you want to not wear them to go out for a walk in case you get caught in the mud again. I've got some new laces. I'm going to just relace them with the new laces and diagonally, top to bottom, and then just loop them from the bottom all the way up to the top, and that gives them a lovely neat finish. Just tuck those in for now. So there we have the Redwing 213s Moc-toe boots, from dusty and muddy and looking unloved to looking showroom condition again, and these are ready for years more faithful service. As I say, you probably not do half of that stuff on a regular routine maintenance basis. You'd probably just use the wax, maybe the Medaille door, but for cleaning, you've got your saddle soap, you've got for conditioning, your Mink Oil. Again, you don't need to use the Renovateur every time, but that's just showing the boots some TLC, the Medaille door, as I say, and then some wax polish for that showroom shine. Anyway, if you like this and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe and you'll see more of my essential guide for the modern man. And until next time, take care. I'll see you very soon.